Chad Johnson. I'm a senior education specialist for Nebraska Public Power District. I also run a nonprofit program here in Aurora called Youth Engaged in Technology and Innovation. And as a side job, I help my son run a robotics company that he started while he was in high school. Well, I work at a company that math runs everything. If you want to answer, when will you ever use math? Well, the generation and delivery of electricity will answer that question every single time. No matter what math problem you're learning how to do, we can show you in our industry where it works. But I don't actually work in the industry. I'm an educator, so my job is to understand the complex math that's going on in our systems and create activities and lessons and resources to help tie that complex math back to kids and activities that they can do so they can see how they use math in the energy industry. 25 years ago when I was in college, I took this class called Discrete Mathematics and Computer Science. And I had absolutely no idea what discrete mathematics was. And I failed that class twice. So here I am, trying to be a teacher, and I got all these great grades and failure because I didn't understand how that discrete mathematics had anything to do with computer science or teaching, and I didn't make that connection. Basically, what we were trying to do is write these complex algorithms in software code to solve discrete math problems. Yeah, way over my head even when I was learning it. Yesterday, I finally realized why in the world you'd ever need to know anything about discrete mathematics. And so now all of a sudden, quantum dots to make solar panels finally make sense to me because I figured out that all those classes that I failed in college come back to actually, I learned what it means now. So it's really cool to see it finally come full circle. I really enjoy this idea that figuring it out is an employable skill. Just to be able to look at a problem and figure out how everything comes together to solve that problem, that's fun for me to see that math is the foundation for the physical world, to see that math is the foundation for all the software that we want to develop and all these robotics and electronics that we do. It's all connected, and so for me it's just really fun to be able to come up with an innovation and then figure out how to apply all this math and science and technology to solve that innovation. So when I was in middle school, I didn't need math. I could solve any problem, I could figure anything out. I didn't have any desire to learn those fundamentals because where am I ever going to use this, right? And now that I see how it is all connected, I would go back and tell my 7th grade self, get that foundation, because being able to solve the problems with math is way easier than piddling around and messing it up and solving the problem 100 times that you could have just done instantly if you'd have known what you were doing. So you don't have to think you can solve every problem. You have to figure out how to apply it. So that's a big piece for me. My biggest piece of advice, and it's not just for math, but it's to find something that you can do. These robots that are back here behind me. Join a robot program, you start building robots, and then all of a sudden you're gonna realize, hey, I'm doing math. And then you start to figure out those things that I'm learning in math class actually apply to these really cool, fun robots that we're building. And that's woodworking and building. Anything that you do with your hands, you're soon gonna figure out that it's math, and that really, really, really helps to understand why math is important. And when you understand that, math becomes a lot easier. This is a robot that competes in the Create Open Robotics program that's powered by Nebraska Public Power District. So all across the state of Nebraska, we have robot teams that can use any parts and pieces that they want to build robots and compete on a field that you can kind of see behind us here. This robot was built by a handful of kids here in Aurora, and it won the most innovative robot at the US Open National Championships. The brain system is one of the coolest things that we have. It started off with Several years ago, a group of kids built their own brain system just plugging wires into proto boards. Then they figured out how to print their own printed circuit board. And then now it's progressed to where we have a board that's designed and built by our entire team. And that's the only one in the country that does that. We're getting parts off of snowmobile, remote control snowmobiles. This is off of a Power Wheels car. These motors here come from car seats that move your car seat forward and backwards. And so it's just a really great opportunity to learn how to apply math, to solve problems, and to build really cool robots. All right, so this is a playing field for our Create Open challenge that we do for robots. Actually, what you're seeing here is there's pieces of 4 different seasons worth of challenges. Each year they come out with a different game. Plays on the same size field with the same color, the gray mats, but the game pieces are different every year. So each year the kids have to redesign their robot to be able to accomplish those specific tasks. In central Nebraska right here, we have 54 robots that compete in our division, right from small central Nebraska schools. So it's a really cool thing that gets a lot of people engaged. So these games are fun. We get to throw balls, we get to flip caps. This one was a few years ago where they just kind of threw stars back and forth over the across. Most of the time there are 4 robots on the field, 2 robots on the red alliance, 2 robots on the blue alliance, and they go at it to see who can score the most points. It's a lot of fun, it's hard, and that's the thing I like most about it. There's nothing easy about building a robot, and you see a lot of growth in your students as they go through a program like this. Well, first of all, they're controlled by their brain. There are components and time during the match where it has to be all autonomous. So the kids are writing the programming code for them to operate independently. And then depending on what the kids would like to use, we use Xbox 360 controllers, and this is a little dongle that we can plug into our brain and use. Or we can use the PlayStation 3 controllers with just the regular Bluetooth. We do have, we can use a Wiimote to drive the robots. A kid this year used a guitar to do some of his activities on his robot. So it's just a really cool way to interface between the digital and physical worlds with tools that they already use.